Extreme fatigue, weight gain, poor sleep, brain fog, body aches, anxiety. These are all symptoms of what's come to be called adrenal fatigue, except that adrenal fatigue is not a recognized medical condition, but the collection of symptoms, especially for those experiencing extreme burnout, they are all too real. I know because not only have I helped others overcome extreme fatigue and burnout, I've been there myself, and I've had to work my way out of it. What we're truly talking about is not adrenal fatigue, but rather hypothalamic-pituitary-adrenal axis, or HPA axis, dysfunction. I know, it's a mouthful, but I'll explain it and make it simple for you. In this video, I'm going to help you understand the physiology of the HPA axis, how HPA axis dysfunction affects your hormone cortisol, and most importantly, what you can do about fatigue so that you can get your life back. This is the Dr. K Show. Most high-achieving professionals and entrepreneurs suffer with constant stress. I'm Dr. Karthik Ramanan, and I'll teach you to end burnout so that you can reclaim your energy and passion for life. On this channel, I do motivational videos, guided meditations, and the Dr. K Show, where every week I discuss valuable topics to end burnout and build your emotional health. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Did you know that even if you're a subscriber, you might not see my videos on your YouTube home screen? Turning on that notification bell is the only way to ensure that you do not miss out. First, let's talk physiology. Your adrenal glands are small organs that sit on top of your kidneys, and despite their size, they play a key role in various functions of the body. The adrenals have two parts, the medulla on the inside and the cortex on the outside. The medulla releases catecholamines, which are a class of neurotransmitters that include adrenaline and dopamine. The cortex releases mineralocorticoids like aldosterone, which helps control your water balance, glucocorticoids like cortisol, which you'll hear about a lot in this video, and androgens like DHEA and testosterone. One of the ways that the adrenals interact with the rest of your body is called the hypothalamic-pituitary-adrenal axis, otherwise known as the HPA axis. The hypothalamus is your master regulatory gland, located in the brain. It has several functions in which it acts like a thermostat. The hypothalamus releases the hormone corticotropin-releasing hormone, or CRH. CRH then signals another gland in your head, called the pituitary gland, to release adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH. ACTH then travels through your bloodstream and tells your adrenal cortex to release cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone, an alertness hormone. When you come in contact with a stressor, cortisol levels rise and stay risen for some time. The presence of cortisol slows down both CRH and ACTH production. Just like a thermostat, you set the air conditioning to 76 degrees. Once the temperature drops to 76, the thermostat signals the air conditioner to turn off. It's the same thing. It's called negative feedback, and it creates a beautiful system of balance that we call homeostasis. Cortisol also follows a circadian pattern. That's to say, it follows a pattern with your body clock. Cortisol is typically high in the morning and reduces throughout the day. One way to measure this is the diurnal cortisol test, which is done by taking 4 saliva samples upon waking, before lunch, before dinner, and before bed. These are charted on a graph and compared to a typical healthy high and low ranges. This pattern shows the normal rise in cortisol production within a half hour of waking, followed by a curved decline over the course of the day. Hey, if you're getting value out of this so far, please do me a favor and smash that like button. Thank you. Now that you know what a properly functioning HPA axis and cortisol curve looks like, let's explain what adrenal fatigue is, or isn't. Adrenal fatigue isn't actually a medically recognized condition, primarily because the adrenal glands aren't getting fatigued. The traditional theory of adrenal fatigue was that under constant stress, eventually the adrenals got tired and stopped producing cortisol. That's a simple explanation for why cortisol is low, and it might be appealing, but it's not that simple. There actually is a medical condition called adrenal insufficiency, and it's potentially life-threatening. That's not what's happening with adrenal fatigue. We know this because even when fatigued, we find that the adrenals can still mount a stress response acutely. So what's actually happening? Let's take a look at the cortisol curves again. In a situation of chronic stress, cortisol levels can be higher than normal throughout the day. Have you felt that tired but wired feeling? Perhaps you're exhausted but you still can't sleep. Feelings of anxiety and food cravings. When this goes on too long, the body seems to adjust to whatever specific stressor is causing a constant elevated cortisol response. Why? Well, possibly to protect the rest of your body from having elevated cortisol levels all the time. As a result, you get this curve. Burnout. This is the form of HPA axis dysfunction, commonly called adrenal fatigue. This isn't your adrenal glands being unable to produce cortisol. They still can, given a new acute stressor, but the entire HPA axis has adjusted to the constant stress, whatever is giving you burnout, by underproducing cortisol. So what are the symptoms of this low cortisol throughout the day form of HPA axis dysfunction? Before I get into that, here are some symptoms of true hypocortisolism, meaning low cortisol production. Low blood sugar, low blood pressure, recurring infections, fatigue, rapid weight loss. Now, here are some symptoms of adrenal fatigue. Weight gain. Extreme fatigue, sluggishness, anxiety, nervousness, brain fog, body aches. Notice how low cortisol and adrenal fatigue don't have the same symptoms. Again, the adrenals can produce cortisol when needed. It's just that the HPA axis has shifted and has adapted to your chronic stressor. There are lower amounts of active cortisol in the bloodstream throughout the day. When someone's cortisol curves look like this, extreme fatigue is really the hallmark symptom, but weight gain is also quite common, along with lack of emotional resilience and a slew of other emotional health challenges as well. How do I know? That's what my cortisol curve looked like. Look, fellow high achiever, I understand your desire to push for greatness and never stop. Sleep is for the weak, got things to do, places to be, I get it. I was a double major at an Ivy League university. I worked on Wall Street for 8 years through the crash of 2008 and beyond, and after that I went to medical school and started my medical training. To say that I pushed myself beyond the limit for decades is an understatement. Eventually, I paid the price. I can't begin to describe how frustrating it is to have a million things you need to do, want to accomplish, and you can barely focus after being awake for just 2 hours. 2 p.m. hits, and it may as well be bedtime because nothing productive can be done at this point. And through all of this, stress fat accumulates. You get tired of explaining why all of a sudden you can't get things done. Maybe some shame sets in as you worry if you're perceived by others as being lazy. You try eating healthy, but you need calorie-dense, stimulating foods just to keep yourself going. And exercise, forget about it. This is not the place that you want to be. So how do you prevent or deal with the burnout form of HPA axis dysfunction? The best thing that you can do for yourself is to see a licensed naturopathic physician or integrative doctor who can properly test and figure out where your true imbalances are. It's not enough to call it adrenal fatigue and buy expensive supplement protocols online without knowing your exact flavor of HPA axis dysfunction. You could be flushing money down the toilet by attempting to treat the wrong thing. The following tips are not a substitute for individualized medical care. I'm a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. This is for educational purposes only. Consider focusing on lifestyle factors that you can control. Your nutrition is more than about staying fit or losing weight. Every cell in your body is built with the foods that you eat. Every function of your body operates only as well as what you feed it. Eliminate the processed foods high in refined sugar and oils. Focus on whole plant foods just as they grow from the earth. Adaptogenic herbs can help modulate the HPA axis, but do so under the care of a licensed naturopathic physician. Exercise can be impossible or dangerous with hypocortisol HPA axis dysfunction. Still, it's important to be gentle on oneself and get outside in the sun if for no other reason than to reset the circadian rhythm. And focus on sleep. Reset the body clock. Remember, the diurnal cortisol curve flows with the body clock. If yours is off, resetting it can go a long way to resetting the hypothalamus thermostat and the HPA axis. I made a video on how to reset your body clock, which I'll link to right here and in the description. What's the most interesting thing you learned about HPA axis dysfunction? If you feel like being awesome, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Dr. K Show. While you wait for that episode, be sure to check out this video right here on how to reset your body clock. Always remember, I believe in your greatness.